Has there been a huge reveal? Well, I think so. The reason why is because Cardano recently announced that the Cardano Foundation joins ADR, Google, IBM, Circle, Wayfair, and as well as others to launch the Legal Context Protocol. Now, I'll explain what this is, even though I think it's a pretty impressive thing what Cardano has been able to achieve recently. But I first want to preface and clarify that nothing I say is financial advice. I am not telling anyone to do anything, and this is just my personal outlook and opinion. But if we consider this, right, again, joining the likes of ADR, Google, IBM, Circle, and Wayfair, we have to consider the magnitude of that. However, why is like that collaboration right there to make something like the Legal Context Protocol? Why is that even a big deal? Well, it's because supposedly it's an open standard that makes legal terms and also, like, for instance, something in the case of dispute resolution, discoverable and verifiable allegedly when AI agents transact, let's say on the case of in behalf of people and organizations. So we have to consider that. This is pretty impressive in my opinion, and I think it kind of showcases what Cardano is actually doing behind the scenes. People oftentimes like to say, oh, Cardano's not doing anything, but they actually are. However, I just like to excuse myself a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. When I woke up today, I felt so tired. I felt like my energy was zapped, and even take a look at this, right? I'm sweating, But yeah, you know what? The show must go on, right? If I see something like that happen when it comes to Cardano, I have to naturally talk about it, because if we consider the fact that Cardano is even mentioned in the same sense as something like ADR, Google, IBM, and Circle, that's pretty legendary stuff right there. So when people like to say, oh, Cardano is cooked, well, is it really though? I mean, the price charts are looking a little bit cooked, but I'll get into that in a minute. But I'm saying, in terms of the actual fundamentals, it's not actually cooked. I think if anything, what Cardano has been able to achieve recently, it has way surpassed what it did last year and the year before, and even back in 2021. I really do think that way. Because in this year alone, we saw the announcement of the Brazilian Olympic Committee and Cardano having a partnership. However, also, we recently saw as well Cardano basically working alongside giants like Google, IBM, and Circle. I mean, isn't that pretty impressive? We all saw this in 2026. We didn't see it in 2025, 2024, and all this. We just didn't see it. It just got announced. That's the thing. And also, the Brazilian Olympic Committee partnership that also just recently got announced. So it's not like Cardano is doing so bad, in my opinion, fundamentally. In terms of the price chart, it's a little bit different, but if anything, the project is, I think, arguably better than it's ever been before. And yet, this is below 15 cents. I'm just a little bit surprised. Now, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm saying still, we're talking about Cardano here. Now, people like to sometimes say, oh, isn't it kind of embarrassing that at one point it was ranked number 3 in the world in terms of market cap? Now it's like, what, ranked 18th? But here's the thing as well. A lot of projects out there were ranked pretty good not too long ago, and then now they're not ranked too good. The market is going to be very volatile at times, especially when it comes to the space. But the fact that Cardano even stabilized at top 20, it's not that bad. I mean, a lot of other projects out there, they're probably never going to become top 20 ever. But when it comes to Cardano, suddenly going from 3rd ranked not too long ago, or quite a while back ago, I should say, and then now being ranked 18th in the world, it's considered really bad? I don't think so. It's a pretty massive accomplishment. If we take a look at this, for instance, in the case of Cardano, being ranked 18th in the world, if people like to tell me that, oh, this is so bad and all this, let's just let this sink in for a second. What's ranked 24th in the world as of right now in terms of market cap? It's Hedera. Hedera's governing council includes Google, by the way. It also includes something like Mondelez, which has brands like Oreo and as well as Cliff. And also McLaren Racing is in Hedera's governing council. And HBAR, it's ranked 24th in the world, or should I say Hedera. So how is Cardano suddenly cooked when it's ranked 18th as of right now? It's not number 3 anymore. However, it's now ranked 18th. Why is that so bad if it's still even larger than a project like, let's say, in the case of Sui, Litecoin, Hedera, and all this? I mean, it's even way larger than Shiba Inu in terms of market cap. Larger than Near, larger than BitTensor's native token called Tau. So suddenly, all those projects are not cooked, but then suddenly Cardano is? I just don't really see it. I mean, what is going on as of right now when it comes to this space. Things are going down, usually. But Cardano is not the only one. Bitcoin's not doing good, Ethereum's not doing good, and all this. So if people like to say, well, this is a situation that's only unique to Cardano, this is not good and all this, I disagree with that. It's actually not the case, in my opinion. Cardano's not doing good, yeah, sure, but a lot of other projects also are not doing good. And if, let's say, ADA could have a reversal for whatever reason, ADA is Cardano's native token, by the way, but I'm just saying, if we take a look at ADA, if it could even have a reversal, we have to consider that last year, ADA was hovering at around $1. Case in point, at around $1, people thought it was really bad, actually, when it comes to ADA, especially if we consider the all-time high being at around $3. Being at around $1 wasn't that good. But the fact that it's even around 6 times lower than $1, like, that is so kind of shocking to me. And then seeing how the project has improved by that much. In real life, if something improved, it doesn't make sense if it becomes cheaper, right? Usually if we see a home that's really massive and it's really well built, usually it's expensive. So in this space, it works a little bit different. A project can be doing so good, but if the market isn't doing the best, then the project can't really showcase much in terms of the price charts. But one thing we do know, though, is that historically we've seen when the market really does take off, people usually care about stuff like this. And the fact that something like IBM and Google even care about Cardano enough in the first place to kind of work alongside them, arguably, I would say. Wow. Again, that is a testament to what Cardano is actually doing. So when people like to say, oh, Cardano is such a bad layer on blockchain, in what way, though? I get it, it's boring. Some people like to say it's not the most interesting. But it's kind of like that video game character, let's say in a pure hypothetical, where you make it and then all the stats are like at 80 or 75 or something like that. It's never going to be too special in a certain aspect, like the stamina is going to be basic, the speed, the strength, and all this, but it's very well rounded. When it comes to Cardano, it has the speed. It's probably not the fastest, some people would like to say, but it has a decent speed. It's pretty scalable. Some people might say, oh, it's not the most scalable. Okay, but it has an aspect of scalability. And also on top of that, the gas fees are not a complete issue. I get it, some other places out there, it could be a little bit more economically friendly, but it's not that bad either when it comes to this. So in terms of a layer one blockchain, I think when enterprises take a look at it, they're going tick, tick, tick. You know, they're ticking the boxes because they're taking a look at something like this and they're saying, okay, it may not be too special in terms of the fundamentals. However, it's so well rounded. That's the thing. And I think that's what sometimes people ignore when it comes to a layer one blockchain like Cardano. It's not the flashiest, it's not the coolest, but it's very well rounded, which is why I think a lot of enterprises out there even know what this is or even care about it in the first place, because they might like the simplicity of it. And if anything, Cardano being so well rounded like that, I think opens the doors more to future developers and stuff like that, because other places out there, because they're so specialized in a certain area, it kind of detracts a lot of developers from entering that specific project or wanting to build there because they feel like it's too specialized. But when it comes to Cardano, it's never had that specialization where it's very public like that. It hasn't really had that. Cardano, you know, we've seen an aspect in regard to AI, especially in regard to the Brazilian Olympic Committee partnership. So when it comes to AI, again, this could do things also in the case of, let's say, you know, launching the legal context protocol alongside Google, IBM, Circle, and many others. So what I like about Cardano is that it's very well-rounded. It's not the most interesting, it's not the most flashy, but I like the well-rounded vibes of Cardano. And fundamentally, I'm still pretty impressed. I'm not telling anyone to do anything though. However, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very amazing day. I'm out. Peace. Bye.